everyone? It's Maru Uchiha here with another What If, and this What If is going to be what if Deku. Well, it's going to be a mix. It's going to be a mix of what ifs. It's going to be what if Deku was neglected, and what if Deku had the Karma Seal. Now, really, me not knowing which one to give him, I'm just going to give him both, kind of like in this photo. But like I'll have it so that like he can either put it on both of his arms, like have a red one on one arm and then have the blue one on the other, or just have them both on one arm and just have it be purple. But I don't really know. No idea. I'm gonna make it like that. So yeah, most of the time his karma seal it's gonna be on one arm, but if he wants to, he can split it to both. And yeah, let's just get into it. I'm sorry I haven't been able to I'm sorry I haven't been able to post lately. I've just been kind of fatigued and late and lazy because school's coming up for me, and I'm kind of stressed out. I'm kind of freaking the hell out. So yeah, let's get into it, I guess. So where we're gonna start off is basically Izuku going to the quirk doctor with with his mom and dad and his little sister Izumi. And you know, his family and everything, his dad, like most neglected ones, his dad's All Might. I'm not really changing anything there. And what happens is basically they go to the quirk doctor, and he's not really doing anything. Like the quirk doctor's, well, it's not him not really doing anything, it's the quirk doctor is basically telling him, or tells his family, that he doesn't have a quirk. So what All Might and Inko decide to do is, they start abusing Izuku without Izumi knowing, and they end up manipulating Izumi into hating him too. Like they basically tell her like, he hates you and that and yada yada yada, just stuff like that. So she starts abusing Izuku as well, and at school he's also getting bullied. I'm just gonna make it so the UA's a college in this, but yeah, he's getting bullied and just getting beat on by his entire class. And what happens is basically like for a good portion of his life up until he's about like 17, he's getting beat on, and every day it's him crying while his family, they're like, shut up, you useless Deku, and they're beating on him and everything. All Might's punching him through, a couple walls. Inko's using her telekinesis to kind of slam him around. And Izumi, she's using her telekinesis as well, and she's slamming him around. And what happens is basically one day, one day after school, Izuku would head home, or he'd be on his way home when he goes under this little underpass, I guess you could call it. So he goes under this little underpass, and out comes the sludge villain. And sludge villain looks at him and he goes, "Give me your body, kid," as it just rushes Deku and just kind of wraps around him, slowly suffocating him. And Izuku, he's trying to fight it, but he can't. Like, he really can't, so all he can do is just kind of accept his fate at this point. And then he just hears, "I am here." Or, yeah, he hears Alma, and then basically All Might throws a Detroit smash, and it blows the sludge villain off of him. Deku or Izuku, he's like, All Might, is that you? And he's like, haha, yes it is. It is I, All Might. And and basically what happens is like Deku is he's kinda flabbergasted and just surprised because his idol, the number one hero, just saved him, so yeah. And he doesn't know that All Might's his dad, because, every time his dad's home, he's in his skinny form. And and what happens is Deku he'll ask All Might, he's like, All Might, I have a question to ask. And All Might's like, in his head, he's like, what's that damn brat want now? As as Izuku, like Izuku would then look towards All Might, and then he would be like, can I be a hero without a quirk? Like, is it possible for me to be a hero without a quirk? And then All Might just starts laughing, and he's like, kid, there's no way you can be a hero without a quirk. You're better off just jumping off the roof. As All Might just jumps off. And that left Izuku pretty broken. So Izuku goes home. He opens the door to his house. His mom, uses her telekinesis, and she slams into a couple walls again. And what ends up happening is, Izuku starts to, how do I put it? He starts to grow more and more hatred for his family, because before he was very forgiving, but now he's just slowly starting to hate and despise his entire family. So what happens is, one fateful day, he's going upstairs after, getting a beating from his family, and he hears Izumi talking with his dad. So Izuku stops what he's doing for a minute, and he's like, all right, let's see what they're talking about. Let me just eavesdrop a little. And what Izuku hears is basically crap. He basically hears Izumi talking with All Might, or with his dad, because he doesn't know it's All Might yet. And then he transforms. He's like, haha, it is I, All Might. And Izumi and Izuku, they're surprised, but Izuku, he's staying quiet. But Izumi, she's like, wow, my dad's All Might. And he goes, yes, it is I, All Might. And what happens is, Izuku, he's hearing this, and he's like, so All Might was my father, huh? As he's gaining more and more hatred for his family. Keep that in mind on why I'm talking about his hatred so much. That's going to come out later. But what ends up happening is Izuku will start to grow a massive amount of hatred for he'll grow a massive amount of hatred for All Might, especially out of everyone. All Might's the one he hates the most. And Izumi's talking with their dad, with Toshinori, And All Might's basically telling her, he's like, Izumi, I want you to know something. And basically begins to tell her the whole stuff about One for All and how he used to be quirkless and all that. I'm not about to explain it, so if you want to learn about One for All, go look it up. And Izuku, he's still at like the top of the stairs, so he's still hearing this, and he's like, so he was quirkless too, and he still chose to say no and hate me like this. And basically, Izumi gets One for All from All Might, and well, for now at least. But Izumi gets One for All from All Might, and then what ends up happening is like one day, one day while they're crap, I'm saying this over and over. I'm trying to remember where the heck I left off or where I was going with this. Oh, um, basically after All Might tells Izumi about this and gives her One for All, they all go to bed and they all go to bed and while that's happening, their house ends up setting on fire. And what ends up happening is like they all try to rush out of the house, and then All Might realizes like they all wake up. Izuku's door is blocked by like a whole bunch of fallen rubble and whatnot. But All Might, Inko, and Izumi, they all rush out of the house, and then Inko remembers Izuku, and she tries to go back into the house, but the house collapses. Like it just crumbles in on itself, and it's just gone. And like she's kind of crying and everything. So is All Might and Izumi, and actually no, All Might's not crying. He's actually kind of smiling, but he's only crying when his family's looking at him. But when no one's around, he's kind of laughing. And basically, what happens is Izuku, like, when the house was collapsing, Izuku ended up, like, he ended up falling into, like, he ended up running out of the window. Like, he jumped through the window out of his room. And he escaped from there. Like, the house burned, but he wasn't in it, basically. And he got out and he got far away, like, into almost like an alley, where all of a sudden he was hit with a tranquilizer dart in his neck. And as he's passing out, he's like, what's happening? As he sees a man with like light brown hair, yellow eyes, and a crow mask walk up. And he says, "You'll be of some use to me for the Karma Project." As Izuku, he just passes out, like he's just unconscious at that point. And what happened is what happens is Izuku would then wake up 5 hours later. And now he wakes up, he's looking around, he's kind of freaking out. He's like, where am I? And, like, while he's looking around, like, basically, while Izuku's looking around, he's strapped to a chair. Like, like those chairs uh, at the dentist, those chairs at the dentist? He's basically strapped to one of those with a light on him, with a spotlight pointed on him. And in comes all of these other, like, doctors. Well, not really like doctors, but yeah, I guess you could call them doctors. Scientists. That's the word, scientist. so many, like a whole bunch of scientists come in, and then Overall comes in behind all of them, and Izuku, he's looking around, he's like, "Who are you guys? What am I? Where, like, or not? What am I? Where am I?" And basically, what ends up happening is that, like, Overhaul looks at him. He's like, "You don't. For your information, my name is Kai Shiseki, otherwise known as Overhaul." And when Izuku hears Overhaul, he kind of like he gets this look in his eye out of fear. And what happens is that Overhaul slowly walks up to Deku and he's like, "I'll be using you to test out my new experiment, the Karma Project." As Izuku's like, "What? What do you mean, Karma Project?" And Overhaul, he's like, "You don't need to know. All you need to know is that I'll be using you for some time now. You're gonna be here for a while." And as he says that, several needles will just stab right into, like, several needles will just stab right into Deku, causing him to just scream and move around and squirm while in pain. And then he passes out, and the doctor or all the scientists are like, "Overhaul, it was a success." And we're just gonna do a time skip because Deku has been in that chair for years, basically, having him basically hooked up to an IV, keeping him alive without the need for food or anything. But they've been torturing him and everything. And what ends up happening is, like, they made him almost like not really an artificial human, but he wasn't a full human anymore. That's for certain. Like, what ended up happening to Izuku was, like, Izuku kind of looks like this now. Like, that's basically what he just kind of looks like. So he's basically just kind of like Kawaki from Boruto, because he really has trust issues now, mostly from his family. But yeah, he has major trust issues. And what happens is, like, we're gonna do a time skip for 3 years, because yeah, he was 17 when the house burned down. So yeah, for 3 years. And for those 3 years, Izuku has been stuck in the same chair in that same room for a good while now. Well, for those 3 years, basically. And what ends up happening is he was able to kind of sneak, like, steal a little scalpel from one of the scientists and hide it under his hand without anyone noticing. So one day, Overhaul comes in and he's like, "I hope you're ready, because we may actually get some success out of this." As he starts and uh they start the process and everything, and it's not doing anything. Like, they start the process, they jab the needles into him containing a purple liquid and a white liquid. It's not doing anything, so no, he's just screaming on pain. And then what happens is that Izuku would then use the scalpel to break out of his restraints and then stab Overhaul in the neck many times before killing all the other before killing all of the other scientists in that room. So after he kills Overhaul and everything, he takes Overhaul's mask. Just just because. I mean, I think it's a pretty cool mask. So he takes Overhaul's mask. He puts it in his pocket. He's walking around. He finds some clothes. He puts on the clothing. It basically looks like Kawaki's clothes. And he's moving around and everything. He's using his little, I guess, yeah, he's using his modifications that he ended up getting to make his body better suited for the karma. He's using those modifications like a blade, a little cannon, stuff like that, and he's firing at the guards and everything, and he's killing them and all types of stuff. And he breaks, like, he's going through every single room, getting something from each room, and he ends up going into one room where he sees two people huddled in the corner. Those two people being, hold on. Basically, the two kids he sees when he opens the door are Ari and Coda. And yeah, that's some I'm actually changing in this story. We're just gonna have it that when Muscular killed Coda's parents, the Overhaul came in and kind of just kidnapped Coda. And Mandalay is still looking for Coda, but yeah, we're just gonna kind of change that part up a little. And basically, what happens is, like, Aries kind of holding on to Coda while Coda's kind of like trying to in a defensive stance. And Coda looks at Izuku and goes, Stay away from me and my sister. And Izuku's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What happened to you guys? I'm not gonna hurt you. I promise. As Aries kind of looking at Izuku, but like she's still a little scared. While Coda, he is afraid, but he's trying to protect Aries. And that's when Deku basically pulls out Overhaul's mask and puts on the ground, and he says, "You guys don't have to be scared anymore. He's gone forever." And Airi and Coda seeing that and hearing him, they immediately start crying, and they're like, "Really? He's gone forever?" And they're like, and Izuku's like, "Yeah, he's gone. He's not coming back." As Coda and Airi just kind of jump onto Deku, and they're just kind of crying. They're like, thank you so much." And he's like, You don't have to thank me. It's fine." And basically what happens is Izuku like Izuku's about to walk out and kind of leave the kids by themselves, but then Eri and Koda, they're like, "Mister," and Izuku turns around. They're like, can we come with you?" And he's a little skeptical at first. He's like, and then he turns to them. He's like, "Sure, come on." Keep in mind, Deku's like 23, or no, he's like 22 now. And basically, what happens is, now as they're walking out, Deku's kind of shielding their eyes so they don't have to see the bloodbath that was Deku going on the rampage. And they make it out and everything, and Deku, he decides to blow, like, he decides to morph his arm into a cannon, into a little cannon, using like that black substance, basically. He morphs his other arm into a cannon. He points the arm at the building as he just sends an energy blast at it, blowing the entire place to pieces. And you all are probably wondering right now, oh, but I thought this was what if Deku was neglected and what if he had the Karma Seal? We're getting to that. Just wait a minute. And what happens is what happens is basically Deku, he takes them, he finds an apartment after stealing a whole bunch of Overhaul's money. Like, he stole all of Overhaul's money, and because Overhaul had a black card. And for those who don't know what a black card is, you can basically use that card anywhere. Like, you can use it anywhere. Plus, it has a whole bunch of money on it. So, yeah. Basically, it's a pay to win card. Like, and Izuku takes that card, and now he buys a apartment for him, Koda, and Eri. And they're kind of living together, and that's kind of what they're doing. Cause Izuku, he's doing some vigilante work here and there, and along those along those lines, Izuku's he's slowly started to get a hallucination of himself because Izuku started calling himself Kawaki. And because of Izuku calling himself that, he's gained a hallucination of his 16-year-old self. Like that, he basically gained a hallucination of that. But the hallucination, it's not really a hallucination. It is it is Izuku. Basically, I'll explain it later on, but for now, yeah, it's just gonna be hallucination. And that hallucination is kind of not really messing with Izuku, but just kind of talking to him. And he is talking with Eri and Koda, but he's also talking with that hallucination. But Izuku calls it hallucination, but Eri and Koda can see it too. So, he's kind of thinking about signing all three of them up for therapy because Izuku, Eri, and Koda do kind of need therapy. And what happens is basically Izuku, he's going on, he's doing some vigilante work with his hallucination, kind of messing with him along the line, or along, while he's doing this. And one day Izuku decides to jump from rooftop to rooftop. And as he's going there, he decides to see, on his way there, just from rooftop to rooftop, he hears a scream. So Izuku, he jumps down, he kills the villain and everything. He pulls, the blade comes out of his arm, and, he just slashes the villain. And the blood does kind of charge up in his weapon. The blood from his enemies kind of builds up in his weapon for later use that I'm going to talk to you guys about later. Maybe next episode. But as Izuku does this, he would end up seeing he basically saved this old man from a villain, and the old man's talking with Izuku, and old man's telling Izuku about how bad his life is, and the old man's talking to Izuku, and he's like, Sonny, Do you think you could do me a favor? And Izuku's like, what is it, dude? What is it, old man? I could help you. And the old man looks at him and he's like, Sonny, could you please kill me? And Izuku's like, wait, what? What do you mean? And he, like he's kind of freaking out. Like he's freaking out a little. And the old man is like, it's alright, just please kill me. And who the old man is, well, it's basically Jigen or Ishiki, or both. And the old man's like, please, Sonny, just kill me. I'm too old for this. I'm tired. And then Izuku's like, okay, old man. As he brings out the blade in his arm and he's like, I'll try to make this quick for you. As he just, just stabs him straight through the heart. And for his last couple seconds being alive, the old man would place his hand onto Izuku's left hand. Like, Jigen would place his hand onto Izuku's left hand, and then Izuku would feel a burning sensation as the old man just kind of fades away. Izuku would look down at his hand and he'd see a little karma, like he'd see a little diamond in his hand, and he's like, what the hell is that? And he decides to pay no attention to it. He's like, yeah, whatever. And he just walks away. Now, yes, I don't really know if that's true in the anime or the manga on that's how you get a karma seal, but just from what I saw from Boruto killed Momoshiki died, which then caused him to get the karma seal, so that's just what I'm going with. And basically what happens is he goes home, he goes to sleep, and as he's sleeping, like as he's sleeping, he'll end up in like this sunset type place, and there's a little bench, it's at a cliff, and you could just see the sunset. And when he gets there, he ends up seeing three Otsutsukis there. Those being those being Ishiki, Momoshiki, and Urashiki. And those three Utsutsukis, they're sitting on the bench. They're actually kind of old, because if I remember correctly, yes, they do die of old age. It just takes a while. So I'm just going to say the Naruto universe was in the MHA universe. Like, the Naruto universe became the MHA universe, which is why they have quirks, because the chakra just evolved into quirks. And no, Izuku, he walks up to the bench, he sits there, and he's like, hey, old guys, do you all know where I'm at? And they're like, oh, you're dreaming right now. Or, not really dreaming, but you're in your mind right now. As Izuku's like, are you sure? And the old men, I should say, all three of them, they're like, yeah, you're here. Because there's something we have to tell you. And that's when basically Ishiki Ishiki would talk to Izuku about the Karma Seal and what it does. And then Momoshiki and Urashiki would tell Deku that they need to help, or he needs to help them find another person to put the Karma Seal on. And, Izuku's thing about it, he's like, who could I give it to? And then he thinks about it and he's like, I think I got a nice idea on who it should be. And then they're like, alright, well, tell us who it is. And that's where I'm going to leave it off for now because it's a little bit like this was just kind of a test. Well, not really like a test. I'm still going to make a whole bunch of them, but I just want to see how much you guys would like this. So, yeah, that's where we're going to leave this off. And yeah, that's Maru Chia signing off. If you all have any more ideas, please do let me know in the comments. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, and yeah, like the video if you want. Like, if it was good, give me a like. If you have any feedback, leave it in the comments below, and I'll see you guys later. Maru Chia signing off.